Hello everybody, this is 90s big beat sensation Fat Boy Not Slim, returning with my latest feature presentation. It's coming up to a year now since I made my last video, a year and 4 weeks as of today. I'm sure I've missed you as much as you've missed my handsome face appearing on your phone screens whilst you're eating your dinner. So, just a bit of an update about me since I made my last video all those months ago. I've finished college and I got my A-levels. Did alright. I grew an inch and a half in height. That was pretty exciting. I got a new job. Actually, and I'm very happy. All the people who I work with. Shout out to Chetan, Isabel and Jessica, and of course Nico, who will work at the 1215 restaurant at Fairmont Winter Park. It's been brilliant working with you. So I suppose some of you must be wondering why there was such a gap, and also why I decided to make a video now out of, almost within a year to when I usually made it. Well, for a start, this video is the first of 3 I intend to make. Sorry, that was 5. I put my whole hand up, I don't know why. 3 videos on this subject, which I'll talk into later. And also, obviously, I was at college. I had stuff to focus on. I could have done over the holidays, but I'm a lazy bastard, so who cares? So, going back a couple of months, I was discussing it with my good friend Mo. Again, we'll talk about him later. We were thinking of doing a collaboration because Mo was so inspired by my original YouTube video, you should go and watch it, that he decided to make his own series. And it's on the 48, mind you, 48 counties of England. He's already done one on Bedfordshire and some rather random one on country shapes by rank. I don't know either. So I suggest you go watch it. I will link his channel in the description. So anyway, he was inspired by my video and he decided to make his own series, yada yada yada. So then Berkshire comes second alphabetically, and since I live in Berkshire and me and him are very good friends, he suggested that I make the Berkshire portion or Berkshire segment. He's also doing his own, but he suggested I make one too, as kind of in a competition, I guess, with his own video. Also, I wanted to get back into content creation. I quite enjoyed making my video, my last one, even though it was, only about 18 minutes long. Some people found it very rambling, but it was revolutionary, at least for me. I had support, lots of people saying this, I should make another one. I had some very weird comments, mind you. Then kind of, there was friends, there was 3 girls on a train. They know who they are. I'm not making the video just because of them, I should say that. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's just get on with the subject of this video. So, Berkshire. That is the subject of this video. This is the first of a 3-part series I intend to make. This one is just going to be me talking or doing a voiceover to various things about it. It's just Berkshire Explained. That will probably be the title of this video or something along those lines. The other 2 parts I'm going to have made, or at least started making, by the time this video is complete. So without further ado, welcome to the County of Berkshire Explained. So this is the part of the video where you don't see my face anymore from this point. It's just going to be me doing a voiceover, and just to make sure you remember who is doing the voiceover, I'm going to put a picture of yours truly onto the screen. There we are. It's a good one, isn't it? So this will be a serious video. It will actually be a serious video. The other two will be unserious, but this will be the serious video. And unfortunately for those that said that my last video was a bit boring, this video is going to be the pinnacle of boredom for someone like you. I don't mean any offence, it's just I don't think you would like what I'm going to be talking about. So then, let's get on with the video. So, what is Berkshire? Well, for a rough idea, let's turn to Wikipedia. Put on the phone cam. Here we go. Here we are. Berkshire is a county in southeast England. It is bordered by Oxfordshire to the north, Buckinghamshire to the northeast, Greater London to the east, Surrey to the southeast, Hampshire to the south, and Wiltshire to the west. Now, I'd say this is a solid bit of information. There is a slight difference, however, between the traditional and current county boundaries, as there is with all English counties. So, for argument's sake, and just to keep it clear, I am going to be using the modern county map, which can be found on Google Maps currently, although as of recently it has been edited a little bit, but it will prove useful as it means I can have an easily accessible map to show you where things are. Unfortunately, the differences between the modern and traditional counties mean that, well, especially in Berkshire's case, as some of you may know, the town of Abingdon, which is firmly in Oxfordshire, was part of Berkshire, even though the town of Abingdon was actually really close to Oxford, as you can see on the map. And it's the same thing with Slough. Slough used to be part of Buckinghamshire for the whole, but now it is part of Berkshire due to the county changes. A little bit of Slough is still in Buckinghamshire, but nowhere near as much as it was. Due to Slough becoming part of Berkshire, it has caused the county border to have this weird kind of salient in it around the area in Eaton Wick and Dorney, which is part of Buckinghamshire but sticks out into the county border. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't find a reason for this salient in Buckinghamshire. I mean, if it were up to me, I'd have just used the Jubilee River as a border and included Dorney and Taplow in it. But I digress. Now, the geography of Berkshire is relatively simple. The whole county is drained by the River Thames as it flows laterally across the whole of the county. The other main river being the Kennet, which confluences the Thames just upstream of Reading Lock. Reading is bordered by two main tributaries, the Loddon and its sub-tributary, the Blackwater, to the south, and then the Kennet to the west, which originates in upland Wiltshire. West Berkshire stretches away from the Thames, which flows from the north-northwest before reaching the Goring Gap. This area features the Kennet Valley Plain, flanked by chalk hills and clay slopes. To the south, the land rises toward the Hampshire border, where Walbury Hill stands as the highest point in the southeast and eastern England, at 297 metres or 974 feet. North of the Kennet lie the Berkshire Downs, a hilly region with wooded valleys carved by the Langbourne, Pang and their Thames tributaries. The open upland areas rival Newmarket in Suffolk for horse racing, training and breeding centres, such as the one at Lambourne, and also for having excellent conditions for fields of barley, wheat and other cereal crops. The previously mentioned Berkshire Downs are well known for its chalk hills. The Uffington White Horse, whilst not in the modern county of Berkshire but the traditional, is a notable landmark of the Downs. It is literally a horse carved into a chalk hill. Whilst being the oldest of its kind, unfortunately, Uffington is hardly a unique example. A number of copycats, or copy horses, have appeared since the Uffington one was laid down. There are 4 other examples on the Downs I could find alone. Most of them are in Wiltshire. And whilst neither a horse nor in Berkshire, there is, of course, the Rude Man of Cerne in Dorset, which is the same idea, and I thought it would be funny to put into the video. The area of chalky earth leads to some chalk streams being found in Berkshire, which are very diverse in life, such as the Pang, Kennet, Lambourne and the Loddon, which were all previously mentioned. Almost anything to the east of Reading is essentially built on a clay belt running until the area around Slough. Due to the ice ages, however, the areas around Datchet and Wraysbury contain large amounts of gravel, which have all been excavated in numerous quarries. If we look at Google Maps, we can see the amount of craters. The pits have been turned into lakes, which have in turn turned into nature habitats, dive centres, and things like liquid leisure. Close by is Windsor Great Park. South of Swinley Forest, the ground begins to get much more sandy, with various heaths and commons appearing because of this, such as the area around Sandhurst. The area around Windsor Castle was then allocated as royal hunting ground in the mid-13th century. At the time, Windsor Park, as it was called, covered Swinley Forest and the current Windsor Great Park. Boar and deer used to roam the park freely for hunting purposes. Sometimes other exotic animals were brought to the Great Park for entertainment purposes, such as bear baiting, which used to occur in an area now known as Bears Rail near Old Windsor. While not as diverse as it was, the Great Park is still very ecologically important and active, with deer such as the roe, red, and muntjac deer being the largest and most common animal found in the Great Park. Some of you may be lucky enough to see the large herds, or rangales, crossing the path on the way to the Copper Horse. There are also numerous native birds that call the park home, such as the red kite, collared dove, Cape Middleton, and the wood pigeon, along with nationally threatened birds such as the spotted woodpecker and the mandarin duck. Apparently, over 1,000 species of fungi, 250 of them found exclusively in the park, are found in Windsor Great Park. I don't know all that much about fungi, however, so I will move on. According to Asser's biography of King Alfred, written in 893 AD, Berkshire takes its name from a wood of box trees, which was called a biarrock, a Celtic word meaning hilly. This wood, perhaps no longer existent, was supposedly west of Frilsham near Newbury. Berkshire's ancient history is also extensive. Berkshire is supposedly home to the oldest continually inhabited place in the country, Thatcham, with evidence of a settlement dating back to the year 8400 BC. There are also many Roman artifacts and settlements scattered around the county, especially in the east, due to its proximity to Pontes, aka Staines. In fact, the Roman road, nicknamed the Devil's Highway, traverses the southernmost regions of the county in a typically Roman dead straight line on its way to Caliva Atrabatum, which is Silchester. There's even a camp made by Julius Caesar's forces near East Hampstead in Swinley Forest. Moving to the 9th and 10th centuries, Berkshire saw numerous battles in and around Reading. This was due to a group of Vikings who had sailed up the Thames and then captured the town. The armies of Alfred the Great and the Vikings clashed from the year 871 onwards in battles such as the ones at Ashdown and Englefield, and also one outside Reading itself, the former two resulting in victories for Alfred's army. Once again, jumping forward to the 11th century, we see eastern Berkshire as the home of royalty. There was a royal palace roughly here at the end of modern-day Church Road in Old Windsor. This palace existed from roughly 750 AD to just after the Norman conquest of England had finished in the year 1070 AD. King Edward is said to have performed miracles such as healing the blind and sick, which is one of the reasons why he was venerated by Pope Alexander III in the year 1161, almost 100 years after Edward's death. There's even a Catholic church named after him in Windsor. Once William the Conqueror had finished his conquest of England, he decided to build a castle atop a strategic hill overlooking the River Thames just outside of London. For almost 1,000 years, that castle has been the home of the monarchy in England, making it the longest inhabited palace in the modern day. The castle has survived sieges, a civil war, 2 world wars and a fire, but still stands today as a monument to English history. On the 1st of April 1974, Berkshire's boundaries were altered under the Local Government Act of 1972. As part of these changes, Berkshire assumed responsibility for the administration of Slough and Eton, along with part of the former Eton Rural District, which had previously belonged to Buckinghamshire. Meanwhile, the northern section of Berkshire was transferred to Oxfordshire. Farringdon, Wantage and Abingdon, together with their surrounding areas, became the Vale of the White Horse District, while Didcot and Wallingford were incorporated into the South Oxfordshire District. Despite the Uffington White Horse previously mentioned, now lying within the ceremonial county of Oxfordshire, the 94 Berkshire Yeomanry Signal Squadron of the Army continues to use the White Horse as its insignia. Notably, the original local government white paper had proposed moving Henley-on-Thames from Oxfordshire to Berkshire, but this plan was omitted from the bill as it was introduced. In 1957, Berkshire officially received its Royal County designation due to its association with the royal family. In 2017, the county flag of Berkshire was registered with the National Flag Institute. The county flag of Berkshire depicts a red deer eating leaves off of an oak tree. Oak trees also being symbolic in the county. Berkshire is a ceremonial county. A ceremonial county is an area to which Lord Lieutenants are appointed to by the monarch. The Lord Lieutenant's position was created in 1540 by Henry VIII. It was supposed to be a royal representative to each of the counties. However, it was also used as a military role, as Lord Lieutenants were responsible for organising and training local militias. The current Lord Lieutenant for Berkshire is a Mr. Andrew Try. In 1998, Berkshire County Council was abolished after a recommendation by the Banham Commission, aka the Local Government Commission for England, and all the districts of Berkshire became unitary authorities. Unitary authorities are local governments that are responsible for almost all forms of local governance in that area. In Berkshire's case, at least, the areas of governance are set by boroughs. This is different to the more common two-tiered system in which there is a county council and then a borough council which share governance between each other. There are 6 of these unitary authorities in Berkshire, these being West Berkshire, Reading, Wokingham, Bracknell Forest, Windsor and Maidenhead, and Slough. The largest but simultaneously least populated is West Berkshire, which covers almost the entire county west of Reading. Politically, Berkshire has almost always been split between Conservatives and Labour, which, to be honest, is the case almost across the entire UK. Slough and Reading were and still are Labour strongholds, and close by Windsor being a bastion for the Tory party. It's probably due to the amount of very wealthy people who live there. Recently, in the other boroughs, there has been a change. In 2024, the Liberal Democrats made a surprising push out of nowhere during the general election, winning 3 out of 9 seats in the county. By population, Berkshire ranks 24th out of 48 counties, with a population of roughly 958,000. As previously mentioned, West Berkshire is the least populated of the counties, even though it is also the largest. The largest immigrant group, as of 2011, were Indians, followed by Pakistanis, and then Poles. Many of these are concentrated in the extremely culturally diverse area of Slough. Reading is the largest settlement in Berkshire by area and population, with 155,000 people in 2012 living there. I say settlement because there has been some debate into whether or not it is a city. According to the interweb, it is described as a town, so I will refer to it as a town. Berkshire does have a surprising number of famous residents. Arguably, the most famous are the royal family, who have lived in Berkshire for centuries. In Reading alone, there's Jane Austen, Ricky Gervais, Michael Bond, Kate Winslet, Michael Foote, reappearing Kate Middleton, and Jeremy Kyle. Numerous people also call or called Berkshire home in one form or another. George and his wife Amal Clooney, Will Young, Oscar Wilde, although that was for different reasons, Elton John, Natalie Imbruglia, him, the Herschel siblings, and Kenneth Branagh. Even world champion Formula One driver Ayrton Senna had a home in Tilehurst of all places. The winner of Miss Berkshire 2025 was one Alicia Hicks from Yateley. Berkshire also is famous for sport. For example, its equestrian traditions date back centuries. Berkshire actually hosts more Group 1 flat horse races than any other county. Ascot is easily the most famous example of these racecourses, along with those at Newbury and also at Windsor. Polo is also played in Windsor Great Park next to Savile Gardens. It has been that way since the 1950s. Tie all this in with the training and breeding grounds in the west of the county, and that gives the perfect combination for breeding thoroughbred horse races. On to football now, with Reading FC being the only club in Berkshire to play professional football. AFC Newbury did have a brief stint until its sponsor Vodafone pulled out of sponsorship in 2006, leading to the club's collapse. There are a few amateur clubs in the county, such as those from Maidenhead, Slough, Windsor and Eton, Aldermaston, Reading City, or, well, Town, Bracknell, and Sandhurst. Whilst the collapse of Newbury Football Club was a disaster for the local fans, rugby still lives on in Newbury. Newbury RFC managed to come second in the National 2, which then earned it a place in the National 1 during the 2004 to 2005 season, which was impressive. Reading is also the centre for rugby union. The London Irish RFC used the Madejski Stadium for 20 years before moving to their current stadium at Brentford. With the River Thames spanning almost the entire county, it is no surprise that many rowing clubs exist in Berkshire. Although only being partly inside of the county, Henley Royal Regatta does take place on the Thames yearly. Other sports such as ice hockey are played. The Bracknell Bees and Slough Jets both play in the National Leagues. There is also a strong performing arts scene in Berkshire. The Watermill in Newbury shows very high quality performances which have then later been moved to the West End. The high-class Mill at Sonning is a renowned dinner theatre venue. And the Theatre Royal in Windsor has its famous annual Christmas pantomime featuring Basil Brush alongside mild political humour. The musical My Fair Lady also famously features a scene at Ascot Racecourse. As I'm sure many of you have heard or even been to the Reading Festival, people come from all over the county and country to see international artists. Headliners at the festival in 2025 included Travis Scott, Chappell Roan and AJ Tracey. The festival is over the course of 2 days. It's a fun time described by many. Much like some of my friends, you too could walk away with bronchitis. On the opposite side of the music festival spectrum is the Windsor Festival, which combines classical music, literature and the arts. Many literary figures are also spread across the county. Jane Austen, as previously mentioned, lived near and went to school in Reading. H.G. Wells, author of War of the Worlds, The Time Machine and The Shape of Things to Come, lived and worked in Windsor as a machinist's assistant and did write some of his books while staying there. Funnily enough, where he used to work is now Waterstone's bookshop. Kenneth Grahame lived in Cookham Dean, and his book, The Wind in the Willows, is believed to be inspired by his experiences in that area. Similarly, some of Agatha Christie's books, such as The Secret Adversary and The Man in the Brown Suit, have settings on the Berkshire Downs and Ascot respectively. Finally, Jerome K. Jerome's book, Three Men in a Boat, takes place on locations in Berkshire that are situated on the River Thames, such as Goring and Streatley, Reading and Magna Carta Island, although at that time in the book, Magna Carta Island was actually part of Berkshire. I believe it is now part of Surrey. I would also highly recommend reading Jerome K. Jerome's Three Men in a Boat. It is a very good book. Berkshire's array of regional food, drink and dining areas are rich and extensive. One of the regional foods of Berkshire is called Poor Knights of Windsor, which is surprisingly similar to French toast. It is usually served with a berry compote and hand-whipped cream. Various cheeses, such as Bark and Bell and Blue, Spenwood and Waterloo, come from the agricultural areas of West Berkshire. More widely known internationally is Eton Mess, which originated from the Eton Mess tuck shop, which served local students during the late 1800s. Classically made with whipped cream, crushed meringue and berries, it has now been adapted to ice cream in the modern day. Many renowned restaurants such as Heston Blumenthal's Fat Duck in Bray and numerous other fine dining restaurants can be found all across the county. To conclude this video, Berkshire is an extremely historically, geographically and culturally diverse and important county. Living in Berkshire all my life, I have still yet to explore it to the fullest extent, which one day I hope to do. I must highly recommend visiting Berkshire and many of the things in it for a day out, or for business, or for anything really, especially if you don't live close by. There is always something to find that will interest every type of person. Hello, you join me from my kitchen. I just figured that changing the lighting might make the video look a bit better, and I mean, it looks a lot clearer, I must say. Anyway, just to go back over what I said at the start of the video, I will be making 2 other videos after this one, hopefully. They're going to be kind of like video documentaries almost, talking about various towns in Berkshire, you know, towns. Well, there's no cities, obviously, since Reading isn't a town. Sorry, Reading isn't a city. Villages, you know, places, you know, important places. I'll even take suggestions if you want. Yeah, so that will be interesting. I should also talk about Mo. So my friend Mo, he has his own YouTube channel called England Explained. As I mentioned, he was really, really inspired by my original YouTube video because I'm just that type of person. He was inspired, he made his own channel, he's made a video on Bedfordshire, and at the time of this release, he is making one of Berkshire. I really recommend you watch the Bedfordshire one, this is very interesting. So I will link his channel in the description below. More content should come from the both of us, hopefully. You'll probably have to wait a little bit longer for me, but not as much time as it was between my last video and this one. So, well, that's the end of the video. It's funny how that year's gone by so quickly.
No, I really think...
Okay, mate.
Can I have my BlackBerry back?
Please?
Can I have my BlackBerry back, please?
All right, listen, mate, I'll call you when I've got it, yeah?
But he hasn't got my... Oh, no, of course, he'll have my number from when I called him.
Yes, and I think he'll definitely be calling.